Jai Hind Vande Mataram dosto, this is Kunal Mehta from Make Me Scientific, and in this video lecture I am bringing very basic math concepts which are essential in physics. So this is basically a small video lecture series, and in the first lecture we are going to discuss about the equation of the straight line and how do we draw the graphs. Okay, because there are multiple times questions in grade 9 and 10 that how will you plot the kinetic energy versus the mass graph, kinetic energy versus velocity graphs. So this concept is very fruitful in those situations. So basically this is a grade 9 to 12 lecture, and all students can watch this to enhance their knowledge. Even grade 8 students can also understand this video. So at the end of the video lecture, there is going to be a quiz, and the link is given in the description to attempt that quiz. So I humbly request you to check your understanding, and if you have any doubts, please do answer in the comment section, and let's go to the video. First of all, we must understand that the equation of straight line is y is mx plus c. Now, the y is the y coordinate, that is, this is the y axis basically. This is the x axis. This c is a number which is known as y intercept, and this m is often referred as gradient, or it is known as slope. Now these two, gradient and the y-intercept, will decide what kind of nature of the straight line of the graph would it be. Now suppose if I give you an example that y is equal to 3x plus 2, which means this coefficient of x is the slope, which is the gradient, and this including the plus sign, this plus 2, this is known as y-intercept. Alright, now the slope or the gradient can take up any values. It can be positive, it can be negative, it can be 0, or it can be infinite as well. But we would restrict ourselves to these three cases only. This simply, the x coefficient is the slope, and including this sign, this last number which is without the variable x is the y-intercept. Now, for example, you might be given an equation that 2y is equal to 3x plus 2. Then in this case, first of all, you need to eradicate this 2 from here, and you need to keep this y alone. That means I'm going to divide both sides by 2 like this. This 2 gets cancelled. Y is equal to 3 by 2 times of x plus 2 by 2, that is 1. So in this case, this 3 by 2 is the slope, and including this sign plus 1 is the y-intercept. Now, what else do you note from here? That the power of y and the power of x both are 1. So in an equation of the straight line, x and y powers are both 1. Rest everything is covered. Okay, so we are now ready to draw the graph, but before that, let's try our hand on few more parts. Like the first part I'm giving you is y is equal to 2x plus 3. Okay, now we will not understand in detail what the slope is right now. So here the value of slope m is plus 2, and y-intercept, that is c, that is plus 3. This y-intercept means it is a point on the y-axis when x is 0. Okay, then let's take y is equal to 2x minus 3. So I'm directly going to write down slope is plus 2, the y-intercept is minus 3. Let's take the third case. y is equal to minus 2x plus 3. Over here, the slope is minus 2 and the y-intercept, that is c, that is plus 3. Now, the last case, that is y is minus 2x minus 3. So the slope minus 2 and the y-intercept c is minus 3. Now, if you have understood this part, we are ready to plot the graphs. And I am promising you that you will be very well able to plot these all four graphs. Alright, now let's plot the first graph, that was y is equal to 2x plus 3. Okay, now this means that the graph will start from plus 3. This is the y-intercept, c value is plus 3. So this point is the point on the y-axis. So plus 3 is somewhere over here. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. Maybe somewhere over here you have plus 3. So the graph is definitely going to cut the y-axis at this point. Now, since the slope of the graph is positive, that means this line would be making an acute angle with respect to the positive x-axis. Please understand this very well, that if the slope is positive, the graph is going to make an acute angle with respect to the positive x-axis. So this is plus x, this is minus x. So the graph would be somewhat like this. In this manner. And how do you know that whether this is going to make the acute angle with respect to plus x-axis? So just imagine that this origin is shifted over here and this is your plus x-axis. So this angle is theta, which is acute. So whenever you have the positive slope, the graph is going to make acute angle with respect to positive x-axis. Now, you may be asked a question that where this graph is going to intersect the negative x-axis over here, then you may simply extend this graph here, and this is the point where y is 0, because this point lies on the x-axis. So I'm simply going to make y coordinate 0, that is 2x plus 3. This plus 3 gets shifted on the other side. So this is minus 3 is equal to 2x. That means x is equal to minus 3 by 2. So this is the point where the x coordinate is minus 3 by 2. This is how we plot it. Now let's go for the next graph. That is y is 2x minus 3. Over here, the slope is positive. That means the graph is going to make, the straight line graph is going to make an acute angle with positive x-axis, and the y-intercept is negative 3. That means this is the point on the y-axis. So negative 3 would be somewhere over here. So the graph is going to cut the y-axis over here and it is going to make an acute angle with positive x-axis. So something like this. We are not worried about what exactly the angle is. That will be covered in grade 11, not here. Okay, so this is the graph, because with respect to positive x-axis, this theta has to be acute because the slope is positive, right? Over here. Now, you may be asked that where this graph is going to cut the x-axis. So again, on x-axis, y coordinate is 0. So simply I'm going to put this as 0. That is 2x minus 3. So x is equal to plus 3 by 2. So this point is our plus 3 by 2. That is our x-axis. So in terms of coordinates, if I want to write this, this is plus 3 by 2, then 0. This is minus 3 by 2, 0. Like this. Because in graph, always the x-axis is written first and then the y-axis. All right. Let's take the third case. The third case states that y was minus 2x plus 3. So in order to avoid the confusion, let me write the graphs. This is y is 2x plus 3. This is y is equal to 2x minus 3. Now the third graph is y is equal to minus 2x plus 3, which means that the slope of the graph is negative. So this has to make an obtuse angle with respect to plus x-axis. All right. And since the y-intercept is plus 3, so the graph is definitely going to start from plus 3 over here. Okay, because y-intercept means the graph is going to cut the y-axis at this point. But the obtuse angle, that means the graph would be somewhat like this. So the graph will pass through plus 3 over here. We are not worried about the angle portion right now. So I'll simply draw a line like this, and with respect to positive x-axis, this theta is obtuse. Correct? If you are interested in finding out which coordinate this is, I leave it on your part as a homework. You may simply put this as 0 and you will get the value, right? You will get the positive value. So this is our graph. The slope determines what kind of angle that your line is going to make with respect to x-axis. Okay, and y-intercept decides whether the line is going to cut the positive y-axis or the negative y-axis. Okay, so I'm going to simply write this as this is y is minus 2x plus 3. Now the last graph over here would be y is equal to, this is part 4, is equal to minus 2x minus 3. So the slope itself is negative, so the graph is going to make obtuse angle, because it's a negative slope, obtuse angle with the positive x-axis, and the y-intercept, that is c, that is minus 3. So the graph will pass from here definitely, and it is going to make obtuse angle with the help of positive x-axis. If this graph is not meeting anywhere on positive x-axis, that's okay. With the x-axis also you can allow. So that means this graph is going to go like this. This is a straight line graph, and this straight line graph has to make, so you may just imagine that from here there is positive x-axis plus x-axis, and with respect to this your graph is making obtuse angle, right? Or even if you check here with respect to negative x-axis also, it is making an obtuse angle. So this is our graph. This is y is equal to minus 2x minus 3. The graph is passing through minus 3, as well as the angle with respect to positive x-axis is obtuse. Again, I am laying an emphasis to this point. We are not interested in finding what the angles are. And a very, very important thing, when you do this, please ensure that the coefficient of y is 1. If it is not 1, you make 1 and then you proceed further. Now let's take two last cases, and these are pretty much easy. I think that you might have got it. Now over here you may see that y is equal to 3x. The x and y power are 1. That means this is an equation of straight line, but c is missing. So I can always write 0 and 0. So over here in both the cases the y-intercept is 0. Let me take one by one. So in y is equal to 3x plus 0, the slope is positive plus 3, and the y-intercept is 0. That means the graph is going to pass from y 0. So on the y-axis this is positive, this is negative, so the 0 is over here, and this has to make an acute angle with respect to plus x-axis. That is due to the fact that the slope is positive, so the line will cut the origin, and this is theta, which is acute. This is our y is equal to 3x. You may choose to write 0 if you want. Now, in the last part, y is equal to minus 4x plus 0, which means that the slope or the gradient of the graph is minus 4, the coefficient of x, and the y-intercept is 0. So that means the graph has to pass through the origin, and the graph must make obtuse angle with respect to plus x-axis. So something like this I am saying, like this. With respect to plus x-axis, this is making obtuse angle and it has to pass from 0.